before them. Thank you.
Chester Borrows, and this debate will conclude at 5:30.
Thank you, Mr Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to take this final call. It was my privilege to be part of the Select Committee considering this legislation when it came before the House last term. And it was interesting to watch the history unfold as for the first time over a period of about 80 years, the obvious traction from the public was to seek to constrain the supply and the sale of alcohol, something we definitely hadn't seen before. And the number of propositions before that committee were very interesting to behold. And one of them, of course, was around the 18 drinking age, the 18 purchase age, but of course we do confuse it as drinking age. And the point was made, as it's been made by a number of people in the chamber tonight, that you can do so many things from early ages, younger ages than 18. People talked about the ability, for instance, the age of consent for sexual intercourse being at 16, being able to vote at the age of 18, to join the army at 18, and to purchase tobacco at a young age. And the point that really needs to be made is this, is that most of the decisions that young people make at those young ages are the wrong ones. Because do you really think, would anyone in the chamber really think that it's a real good idea to seek consent and go off and get married at 16 or to get married at 18? Or to start having sex at an early age at 16, or to start smoking tobacco at 16. And the trouble is, of course, that when those 18-year-olds go off and vote, they all go and vote for the wrong party. So those decisions are not good decisions that are made. And the absolute claptrap that my here until now good friend Tohinari was talking about, well, I don't know whether he was pleased to see me or whether he was trying to deal with a bit of crusty vomit. But that's the point about this. The decisions are made around alcohol are incredibly emotive and not always based on a whole lot of experience. Those of us who weren't in the House back when the laws were liberalised in 98, 99 are wondering just what on earth those members of Parliament thought they were doing, because apparently what they were trying to do was we all go off and start drinking like the French. Well, apparently the French are pretty good at drinking, and their alcoholism statistics would tend to lead you along that line. But that is not the way that we deal with drinking within our culture, not that we've got anything to be proud of. And when you go to those hospitals, those A&E departments late at night, or when you are working in the streets, no matter what your occupation may be late at night, what do you see? You do see increasingly numbers of young people who are the worst aware for alcohol, and it is increasingly earlier within the night that has happened. And that does not mean that we didn't go out and get drunk when we were young or when we were under 18. It was more difficult to do. And it's very difficult too to think back on our times and where we were young and the way we were drinking, and can try and compare that to today, not just on the products that are available, but the liberalisation of that law. So when John Banks and Peter Dunn were out drinking and it was illegal to have liquor in the vicinity of a dance, was there liquor in the vicinity of dance? Of course there was. There were 50 guys sharing a crate of flagons out of the back of an old Vauxhall. Probably belonged to Phil Goff or Trevor Mallard. It is a totally... Yeah, you drank his beer. You drank his beer for nothing. You were skiding about it. In any event, we can't put on a set of 2,000...
Order. The time for this debate has concluded. An election will be held to agree the age for the safe and purchase of